This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello, whatever time it is with you and wherever you are. Thank you for downloading this SmackDown review. It's part of the WWE Podcast. It's an absolute pleasure to have you listening along. As always, I am Amanda, your host of the SmackDown review. Please remember that I am on X and I am at Amanda SD Review. That's at Amanda SD Review. Reach out. Would love to talk wrestling or anything really with you guys. And before we get started, this is show number 52. That means I have been doing your SmackDown review for a year now. Now, granted, I've had a couple of weeks here and there holiday, but this is officially show 52, so yay for me. Let me know on Twitter or X, apologies, what you want more or less of in the show. I would love to hear your thoughts, so reach out. Let's talk SummerSlam quickly and what did we all think? Overall as an event, I think it was better than Mania. So how did we get on with the predictions? Let's have a quick look. So we had Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew and Logan, and this I had predicted a win for Jelly, and that Drew would turn on Paul and start the program. I was completely wrong, all ends up there. This was a win for the heels, and apparently Jelly requested to lose because he is apparently a true fan and he is sick of celebrities always getting straight over. So if that's true, then nice one for Jelly, but we were wrong on that one. And we had the women's tag team champs. So this was the Judgment Day, Raquel and Roxanne versus Flair and Bliss, and this was a win for Bliss and Flair, which we predicted, and absolutely loving that, really pleased. The Women's Championship, Tiffany versus Jade. I had hoped here that Tiffy would win, but I was worried that Jade would win, and thank God good sense prevailed and we got a win and a retention for Tiffy. Certainly not over Tiffy as a champion. Loving her work. Then the Heavyweight Championship, Gunther versus Punk. So we got our Punk win, as I hoped we would get. And then bloody Seth cashing in. I'm not going to lie, guys. This made me actually proper mad. I have a massive issue with injuries being used as works to this extent. It's fine for people that are saying they've got little bits and bobs, but to go to the lengths that they went to sell Seth's injury to, as somebody who's had massive issues with knee injuries myself, I've had ruptured ACLs, meniscus, etc. from sports. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm sorry to say that I don't think I could stand a long Seth title run. Take away his theme tune. This is controversial. Don't hate on me. But if you take away his theme tune, he's barely mid-card. There. I said it. The six-pack TLC tag match. We had predicted that the Wyatt Six would retain, and they did. Called that one right, and it was a great match. Some amazing spots. Candice taking that tumble off the ladder was quite something. Intercontinental Championship, Dominic versus AJ Styles. Got that one wrong. I had an AJ win, but Dominic retained. No DQ, no count out. Women's Intercontinental Championship match. This was Becky versus Lyra. We said that Becky would retain. We also predicted that there would be some interference from Bayley, and right there on both counts, Bayley interfered. Becky retained, so something is definitely brewing between those two. And love to hear your thoughts on Becky's new theme tune. I quite like it, and I think that's WWE showing their commitment to keep her as a heel this time. Her last heel run, they never changed her music, and I think that's the big thing. When you've got such a sing-alongable theme tune as what Becky has and Seth, it's really hard to get them over as a heel when we love singing their music. So Becky with new music, I'd love to hear what you thought. US Championship Steel Cage match, we had Solo versus Jacob Fatu. I was wrong on this one. We got a Solo retention, plenty of shenanigans from the MFTs still on the outside. Women's World Champ Triple Threat. This was Naomi versus Io versus Rhea. I called Rhea here, but I was wrong. We got a Naomi retention. We then had the street fight as the main event of day 2, which was Cena versus Cody Rhodes. I called this one wrong as well, as Cena very firmly stayed as face, and Cody won the title. And then ... Okay, so let's talk Brock's return. This is so difficult. I've listened to everything this week on all podcasts, all dirt sheets, etc., and I've thought about where I stand. and here it is, guys, for anyone who's interested. I think if we look at WWE as entertainment, so in effect, like EastEnders or something like that, EastEnders, Doctor Who, whatever. And on EastEnders, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes in any of those shows. All I know is that I like EastEnders, I want to watch EastEnders, so I watch EastEnders. Now, just to be clear, I don't like or watch EastEnders, but you get my point here. I don't need to know the ins and outs of every person involved in the show. That's me personally. That's my opinion. I'm watching entertainment. I also think, as a bit of a sidebar, that TKO must have some pretty massive legal minds on the payroll who have had input into the Brock return. And I feel like they must have risk assessed the situation and feel it's okay, and that maybe there isn't anything to answer. So, in summary, I'm okay with Brock coming back. I don't have a problem with the actual fact that he's come back. What they might do with him and his storyline is another matter, which remains to be seen. Anyway, let's get to it and review the SmackDown that aired August 8th from Montreal. We start off with a bit of a SummerSlam review, and straight off the bat, we get John Cena out. Delighted to see that his entrance has gone back to what it used to be, and the face turn is 100% completed. The crowd are completely off the chart, and looking around the crowd, it's got to be about 70% Cena shirts. He still gets his special announcement, but it's slightly tweaked to be a lot less aggressive, and as a result was really well received by the Montreal crowd. He grabs the mic and he says that we've come a long way. He says for the longest time that WWE was afraid to come to Montreal, and there's a lot of history in this building. I'm guessing he's talking, amongst other things, about the screw job, I guess. He says that they were afraid the audience would hijack the show. He says that he's never been afraid of that, as he knows the audience is the show. Okay, a bit saccharine, but totally fine. He says he knows people at home wish they were here, and he says the noise in the arena is deafening, and that certainly comes over on the TV. He says some performers might get afraid to be in Montreal, but there's one thing he's been taught, and that's to embrace the crowd, whatever they do, and enjoy every second. He says it doesn't last forever, and he gets a nice thank you Cena chant. He says that after tonight, he's only got 11 shows or appearances left. He says that every time a day goes by, he is afraid that no matter how much he gives, it won't be enough. And he's afraid that once he goes, the fans will forget about him. He says that, yes, he's even afraid of Brock Lesnar. He also says, though, that he won't back down. He says he is afraid, but he's afraid that Brock just got himself a Cena problem. He tells Brock to come get some. He then calls out the whole locker room and says he's going down all guns blazing. We then get Logan Paul's music hits. Ugh, massive boos, obviously. He tells Cena that whatever this is, it's making him sick. He says that he respected him, but now he doesn't even know him. He gets into the ring and Cena tells him that you've just made the biggest mistake of your life. Paul tells him, you don't know who you are, these people don't know who you are, and I've been real since day one. Well, yes, Logan, you have. You've quite clearly always been a dick. He says whether they like it or not. Cena said that Logan Paul does WWE better than any pro wrestler, and Cena agrees that yes, he did say that, but also that Logan Paul is the biggest dumbass that he's ever seen in his life. Logan calls Cena a liar, says that he came out here and says pretty much whatever he's told by the bosses. He says Cena turned into a charity case and that he wants a match with Cena. Paul says, let's do this in a beautiful French-speaking country, and really winds up the Montreal crowd, thinking that they might get this match here tonight, and then goes on to say, let's do it at Clash in Paris. From behind, Drew comes into the ring and attacks Cena, and they start to beat down Cena, but then out comes Cody to Cena's defense. Cena grabs the mic and accepts the match at Clash in Paris and sets up a tag match tonight, Drew and Logan versus Cody and Cena. Well, where to start with that opening segment? I'm pleased that they turned Cena backface, and the live crowd seemed to be too. He's only got 11 more dates. That's basically no time at all. Now, yes, first part of this promo was a bit sickly sweet. Yes, a bit OTT, maybe a bit, but the crowd absolutely lapped it up. I think I can handle 11 more times of that. And Cena goes out being adored, I think. So he definitely firmly set up himself versus Brock at some point, but we know not for Clash in Paris, which I don't think is really a surprise to anybody. Logan Paul coming out, well, that's very as per his character, I guess. Of course it was him that would be first to answer Cena's open challenge. He's a limelight-stealing opportunist after all. Now, I didn't mind Paul's part of the promo either. He told some truths, and him and Cena have got some chemistry promoing together. Now, I know that WWE clearly want to give Montreal a great show. That's why we have Drew linked into this. Otherwise, I don't believe for a second that Drew would continue his alliance with Logan. So we've got a great match confirmed for tonight. We get a Cody Saviour appearance, which again, I am totally fine with. And we've got Logan versus Cena for Paris. A good, maybe even great opening segment, I'm not going to lie. There's something about Cena being so incredibly over that gives me the proper feels. I like it. On comms, Joe tells us that we have a sellout here tonight, and we go backstage to see the Motor City Machine Guns with Kathy Kelly. She asks them that after their match at SummerSlam, are they ready to face Solo's MFTs? Shelley says they are beat up, but they've made a legacy of getting up and getting on with the next match. They say they know they have to win tonight so they can get themselves another title shot. And they are really selling the battle injuries from the TLC match from SummerSlam, and quite rightly too. It was all ends up brutal. That match is coming up next, and it kicks off with Shelley and with JC and the Motor City Machine Guns showing their tag team chops early on. Quickly though, we get Tama Tonga causing a distraction and the massive Tama Tonga doing some damage to both members of the Motor City Machine Guns. Shelley with the tag to Sabin, who comes in hot but struggles to make any real impact on JC, finally lands a springboard DDT, getting himself a close 2 count. JC from nowhere pretty much hits a double clothesline and poleaxing both of Motor City Machine Guns, and this one ends quick as Talatonga hits a choke slam from about 700 foot in the air and gets the cover for the win. So I think we've clearly got the MFTs being manoeuvred into the tag division, so not only here for Solo's benefit. After the match, Solo has the mic and says for Montreal to take a look, as this is what greatness looks like. He says we are looking to be the tag team champs. He says it's a shame, he's all dressed up ready to fight and feeling good, but there is no one backstage to fight him. He says they're leaving as he doesn't want to wrestle in this crappy city anyway. Before they can hightail it out, Nick Aldis comes out and makes a match. He says he has a special guest, and it's someone Solo knows well and someone Montreal knows even better. He brings out the hometown hero, Sami Zayn, which lifts the roof off the arena. We get massive cheers. So this one kicks off with the MFTs all ringside, so likely to play a part in this match, and the crowd are absolutely mad for Sami. Wade on comms telling us that these conditions are totally unfair for Solo, who can't even hear himself think, as the crowd are chanting in French. They aren't, they're chanting in English, but never mind. Sami starting off really strong, but it's not long before Solo poleaxes him. Sami turns things around on Solo, showing off some impressive moves as he flies over the top and takes out Solo good. Talatonga from the outside takes out Sami and gets some massive boos. Sami wriggles out of Solo's clutches and hits a sunset powerbomb from the second rope, getting a really close cover. Sami kicks out of the spinning Solo in about 2.9. And Solo lines up the spike, but Sami has it scouted, hitting an exploder into the corner. He has Solo set up for the Haluvo kick, but the bloody MFTs interrupt, and Solo goes for a wild spike, which Sami ducks, using Solo's momentum to roll him up and nick a win. A good match. I thought great that they brought Sami in to get his hometown recognition, and a good match. So what do we think is next for Sami? Now he's rid himself of Karrion Kross. And I know there's been lots of back and forth about the contract of Karrion Kross, because apparently him and Scarlett both come out of contract this week, and they hadn't been offered anything new. And I know there's a big fan movement to get him over, so I haven't heard. I hope he has signed, because I actually really like him and Scarlett's gimmick. I think WWE here are clearly trying to build Solo and the MFTs to be a massive heel faction, and that's okay. I think there's plenty of scope here on SmackDown for a heel faction and potential for them to go head-to-head with the Wyatts. We now go backstage and we have the new women's tag champs, Bliss and Flair. Now I have to say, putting the belts on these two has made me so much more interested and excited about these belts than I have been since maybe Bayley and Sasha back in the really early days. Some of the booking with these titles has been, let's be honest, woeful or woeful. See what I did there? But this pairing is really interesting. And after watching Unreal, as I said last week, I am really pleased to hear Charlotte so over with the crowd. And we get a bit of a comedy stick here, where we get Charlotte saying that she knows it's Bliss's birthday tomorrow. She wanted to give her a present, but she says she needs a crowd. Bliss says, oh my God, she feels quite nervous about the whole thing. This is fine. I guess we're getting to know a bit more character development, particularly from Flair. I think it's quite important that we know this side of her. We now get a spooky wookie promo from Wyatt 6. Uncle Howdy says they will never lead us astray, and when they speak, it's the truth. Gacy says they have shown them all they're nothing but a harmless illusion. Nikki says this isn't about fame or glory, it's about something much bigger, and there are more lessons to be learned. Rowan says the story has only just begun. Now I'm glad that they chose to stick with the Wyatt 6 and build a bit on them. I would like them to do something with the other members, and maybe that's coming down the pipeline. I hope so. I'd like to see Bo Dallas in some single matches, and likewise I'd love to see Nikki get into a program with someone. I still think Candice LeRae is just there, and that would be just perfect. We then go into the trainers' room where we've got Street Profits with B-Fab, who now fully looks to have transitioned back from wrestler into the full-time Street Profits groupie, which I think is a shame. DIY show up and start chopping off about Candice falling off the ladder and blaming each other and everyone. Nick shows up and says, after you all nearly killed each other at SummerSlam, I thought you might have calmed down. He says he's going to get control of the tag division if it's the last thing he does. And he makes Profits versus DIY for next week. So we continue with the build of this super hot tag division. And that bruise on Candice does look gnarly. I think she's lucky. That's all she got. It was one hell of a fall. And she had absolutely no reason to do it. It was not a mixed gender match. It was a men's tag team match. Kudos to her for having the balls to do that. Next up, we have Flair and Bliss out for a birthday surprise for Bliss. I think it's a little bit weird that Charlotte insists on using Bliss's actual first name rather than her character first name. As you know, I can't say either, because if I do, then my device will start speaking to us. Flair says that she could have made this all about her, but she decided to be gracious and share the spotlight. There's a massive cake with Bliss's name in tiny, and there's another gift. Bliss said that she doesn't need to bother, and it gets all a bit Chuckle Brothers, to me, to you, with this big pink parcel on the plinth. Charlotte says that Bliss once gave her a present, and she gives her Lily back. And in the box is another Lily doll, but it's of Charlotte, and it's called Charlie. The crowd cheer for Charlie, and this is all just getting a little bit weird, but I get it, I think. Flair says she needs more from Bliss, and so does Montreal. Flair tells Bliss that she may hug her. Bliss doesn't seem keen, and just as they're about to hug, we get interrupted by Chelsea. And Chelsea says that as a true Canadian, she feels sick seeing Montreal fawn over Flair and Bliss. She says we're in Canada, and we should be celebrating her homecoming. Flair says that she's got one more gift for Bliss, and that's for her to kick Chelsea's ass. Chelsea tries to back out of the arena, but Nick appears again and makes the match complete with a shiny new referee wearing a bow, which I think is another present for Bliss. Side note here, don't we think that Nick is looking like he's been living in the gym? He has gone bulky. We now get Mello with Miz backstage. Mello asks Miz where's he been. Miz tells him he deserves more and that he's sorry he disappeared. Mello says that he has come here because he wants a US title shot. Miz says he has got them a tag title match for next week, but that might be a lie as Nick rolls up and Miz says that he wants to speak to him. Okay, so are Mello and Miz back together? I have to say I don't really care, and I thought we were over that. Why on earth would Nick give them a title shot when the tag division full of actual tag teams is on fire right now? Is this what we need? I don't think so, but let's see. Now to this women's match, and it's Flair versus Chelsea. I must have been confused. I thought it was versus Bliss. Never mind. Flair looking awesome in the ring with Bliss and the Secret Hervis ringside. Flair nearly nicks it early with a massive crossbody that pretty much went across the ring. She gets a close cover, and they're not kidding when they do say that she is one of the most athletic people on the roster. She's phenomenal. And they keep focusing on the birthday cake ringside, and I'm going to say that someone is going face first in that cake before we are done. Flair hits natural selection, and Chelsea just manages to kick out. Chelsea hits a superflex off the top, and Flair kicks out. Surprise, surprise, the cake is now brought to the ring. Bliss takes out the Secret Hervis, and Chelsea tries to unpretty Flair into the cake, but fails as Flair puts Chelsea into it face first. She then goes for the figure four and taps Chelsea out. So a win for Flair, and Chelsea doesn't get a winning homecoming. Now, I know that the role Chelsea is currently in is the comedy role, and it's definitely needed in the show. And for now, that's good. I mean, TV time is better than no TV time, right? I just hope she gets a push at some point. I mean, do you guys remember a couple of years ago at Money in the Bank when it came down to her and Tiffy, and they took it to a great finish? Chelsea's really got some talent. Look how differently they've been booked since that time. Speaking of Tiffany, we go backstage where Kathy has Tiffy, the triumphant women's champion, after retaining at SummerSlam. And Kathy asks what's next for Tiffy, and she says she'll just keep doing what she's been doing for the last 200 odd days, and that's defending her title. Jade shows up and tells her next time the story will be different. Kiana James shows up with Julia and offers her services to Jade, who turns her down. And Meechin appears and takes the card, saying she's going to try and get herself a US title shot. So Jade, what do we think is next for her? As I said to you guys last week, I don't see her holding the main championship just yet. And maybe the US title would feel a bit more right than straight to one of the main titles. So maybe that's where we're going. Meechin with the US title, yeah, fine. She can come back into it now. We've had a bit of a break and a change around. But Jade, I don't know, reach out, let me know what you think might be next for Jade. We get a promo from Aleister Black, who tells us the difference between good and evil is convictions. He says he loves violence, and he has put Priest on the shelf with a fracture of the jaw. Now, wait a second. Is Priest out injured, or is that a work? I haven't heard anything official, but that means nothing because we can't seem to trust these injury stories these days after Seth. We get Cena backstage, obviously on his way to the ring for his match. He bumps into Truth, and they do a little comedy bit together. And Truth says he's back. They're both back. The exchange between them was actually pretty funny. Cena turned the tables, and all the things he did, he put onto Truth. I actually really liked it. I thought it was quite a nice angle. We then move straight into the main event, Logan Paul and Drew versus Cena and Cody. We start off with Logan and Cody facing off. Wade says this is basically a PLE level match. He's not wrong. I mean, take Drew out, he's neither here nor there, but the other three guys for sure are at the moment top of the card. Some typically Healy behaviour from Logan and Drew, laying Cody out ringside. The crowd are dying to get Cena into the match. Finally, Cena is in and doing a good job on Paul. We get the 5-knuckle shuffle and the crowd go nuts, and it's like your favourite band doing their greatest hits. I didn't get Oasis tickets, but I imagine this is what it feels like. When you're at the Oasis concert and they do, Roll With It, Wonderwall, or they bring out all the greatest hits. And that's what we get here with Cena, and that's cool. Drew makes the save, and Cody interrupts the Claymore attempt. Paul hits a low blow and causes the DQ finish, and we get Paul and Cena brawling out the back of the arena, with Drew and Cody continuing to fight ringside. Drew hits Cody with the title and stands there holding it, and I guess and I hope that's as close as Drew is likely to get to the title belt at the moment, hopefully ever. And then we get Drew losing it. He claymores Cody through the front of the announce desk, absolutely crumbling it. What an animal. We go off air with Drew basically being a maniac and whispering in Cody's ear. So I guess that's where we're going. Maybe Cody versus Drew in Paris, which I'm not really that bothered about. As you know, I'm no fan of Drew McIntyre. I really don't think he's all that. But guys, what a show. What a show. Montreal brought it for sure. Some great developments in stories and some decent things set up for the next PLE, and with this Brock Cena angle for the PLEs down the line as well. Reach out to me on X. I'd love to know what you guys think, and let me know if there's anything different you'd like to hear as we go into our second year of SmackDown review with me as your host. I would really love to hear from you. Anyway, guys, that's it from me for this week. That just about does it for the show. Thank you for having me in your ears once again. And remember, until next time, be kind.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.